And welcome to Let Them Talk. I'm Paul DiRienzo. We have a very interesting show, arts show, and we love it when we go off into the direction of New York City's vibrant arts community, which is always so exciting and opens your eyes to something new, something different, something you wouldn't see anywhere else. Okay, Let Them Talk. I'm Paul DiRienzo, and my guest is Ariel Grossman. Hello, Ariel.
Hello.
How you doing? Have you on again? It's been a while, but we're glad to have you on. And you're a choreographer.
Yep.
And you're with a group. It was the 5 choreographers when I first heard, but now it says Ariel Rivka Dance, Carolyn Dorfman Dance, Sean Curran, and more join forces at New York Live Arts May 28th through 30th, right?
Yes. So we have my company, which is Ariel Rivka Dance, and we asked Sean Curran, who's pretty well known, to set 2 works on the company. So my company will be dancing my work and also Sean's work.
And we'll see an example in a little bit. We have a video lined up. But beforehand, I want to get to know you a little bit and your work, and again for our audience. And tell us, Ariel, a little bit about your history as a dancer. I mean, you were telling me some interesting things of where you're from, right? And you're right from here.
Right. I grew up on 23rd and 1st with my sister, 13 months apart. We shared a small room, which has actually made its way into one of my dances. And I asked my mom in 4th grade, I really want to go to ballet. I really want to go to ballet. And finally, she took me to the Joffrey Ballet School, where I trained for 10 years. And then I went to LaGuardia High School for Performing Arts, starting in 9th grade. And I was doing both at one time. So for about 3 or 4 years, I was dancing about 5 or 6 hours a day. And I wasn't really sure if I wanted to go to college. And then I got injured. I actually had knee surgery when I was 15. And at that point, had a little extra time on my hands and realized, oh, you can do something besides, go take ballet class. Maybe I should explore other options.
Okay.
So I went to Skidmore College and was able to dance a lot there. And,
Cool. So tell me of that feeling when you felt that this is something you could, excel at. I mean, what was that like?
Well, I think I've achieved that feeling quite yet.
Well, you have a dance company.
I have a dance
and
company.
You're a choreographer.
Right.
I think you must excel because you have a wonderful sounding program that's going to be happening at, tell us a little bit about where it's happening and what's happening there.
So it's happening at New York Live Arts, which is, I just came from tech rehearsal there, and the theater is just unreal. It's such a beautiful combination of real theater meets intimacy. So you really feel like you can see a huge stage, but you're not in this huge theater, which hopefully one day we also will be able to perform in a theater really big, but it feels really, really nice to be there. So that's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, May 28th, 29th, and 30th. And we're doing a special family performance, a matinee on Saturday at 2 p.m., which is going to be an abbreviated show, about an hour. And my other life is an early childhood teacher. So I bring in a lot of that experience to do a more interactive workshop performance.
Sure.
And the live musicians will be there, the 4 live cellos. My husband choreographed composed the music.
Well, you're asking the questions for me. That's great. No, go ahead. Tell
so
me.
they will be
great.
there also. The musicians
Yes.
will be there. And I think for children, it's really for ages 4 and up, I would say. It's an opportunity for them to see dance, interact with all of the artists in a way that's appropriate for them.
Oh, cool. All right, great. So how long have you been working on this show? How long to build it, make it happen?
Well, I would say for at least 9 months we had the idea to do it, and one of my dancers has now taken on a more leadership role, Hannah Ginsberg Tarosh, and David, my husband, Homan, and I decided to pursue more of a festival idea this year. I just had a baby a little over a year ago.
Yeah, tell us about that. Your baby, Eva, right?
Yes.
And you just showed me her video.
Yes.
She's great to see. You just had her 13 months ago.
Yeah.
So, of course, that has to have an effect.
Definitely.
Right? And also the fact that you're collaborating with your husband.
So that's been going on for a while, yeah.
Right, so you're used to that. Well, how does that work? How does that, I know it can be done, but some people might not realize it can be done.
Well, David and I both have parents who work together, so I think we both had these models of this is what you do. You work with your significant other. Sometimes it's easier than others. But really one of my big fears about having children was being able to pursue and continue to pursue my artistic dreams. And David and I had a lot of conversations about how is it going to work. It's not going to affect you. It's going to affect me. And finally, now that we have her, I really, it's not easy. And having a husband who is as supportive as he is and a family that's able to help out makes it possible. But, I didn't see her all day today. So that was tough.
Do you expect her to go into dance?
I don't know. I really don't know. Part of me...
She's walking pretty good.
She's walking pretty good. She does some moves. I'm interested in basketball for her, I've decided.
Okay, sports, that kind of move. That's like dance, right?
Yeah, I think there's a little more money, WNBA, or she could be like a manager or something.
Okay, you think she's got it? She's going to be like tall like that and jump really high?
I don't know. Right. But I don't know. I'd like her to support her parents' artistic careers. That's my goal.
That would be great.
Yeah.
All right. That's a great idea for your child. Okay, great. So, tell us a little bit we're going to go into the video show. We have a video clip coming up. So begin by just maybe telling us a little bit about what we're going to see. I'm not sure which of the two we're going to see, but...
Yeah, so what I was saying is that the three of us, Hannah, David, and I, sat down and said, how can we make this work for the company? I don't have as much time on my hands as I did before. Let's involve some really amazing collaborators as part of our work. And we thought of some people we really would love to work with, and one of them is Ariel Dance, who's a female choreographer, New Jersey based, and my whole family actually had gone to see one of her open rehearsals years ago, and we approached her and she was really interested, so she's sharing the bill with us. And her work is really accessible but interesting and technical, modern but not too modern for our taste. And we hope that it's a performance that people who don't know a ton about dance can still appreciate it and walk away with some great feelings.
Sure.
And we also have two soloists performing, and then Sean Curran has two works as well.
All right, great. All right, so we're going to watch the video, and we'll see, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. So, okay, go to the video, and let's see Ariel Grossman just introduced and an example of what we're going to be seeing this weekend. Okay, Ariel Grossman, great. And tell us what we just saw.
So that was one of our most recent rehearsals at LaGuardia, where we are so grateful to have space to rehearse in, huge, beautiful studios. And that was one of the first rehearsals with the four cellos live, which is always an interesting introduction, the musicians meeting the dance. And one of our friends, Britt Wallace, actually came and took a video of that process. I didn't know at the time she was going to make a little video for us, but we were really happy to see that together.
Nice.
Yeah,
really nice. So that's an example of what people will be seeing. It was
Yes.
wonderful. It was beautiful to see it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for allowing us to broadcast that.
Yeah, of
And
course.
to all the
yeah.
listeners out there, viewers out there who saw it. So, okay, let's tell us. We were talking earlier about some of the influences in your life, and we were talking about the fact that we were both New Yorkers, right? And like way back New Yorkers and the generations that came before, and I find that interesting because that's always an interesting story. And you had a fascinating story, and I was wondering maybe you could tell us a little bit about how your family came to be New Yorkers.
Sure.
And this is something we often talk about on this show.
Yeah, so my dad came to New York to come to NYU for college. He was from Baltimore. And so I grew up having to hate the Yankees because he was a hardcore Baltimore Oriole fan. He is tonight. He's either yelling at the TV about the Orioles or the New York Rangers. So go team. It's very big to him. And my mom, as I was saying before, was born in displaced persons camp in Germany after World War II. Both of her parents were Holocaust survivors. And they took the boat to New York when she was just about a year old. And she grew up in Brooklyn. And she says, actually, that she remembers, because my daughter just started walking, and we've been trying to remember when I started walking, when she started walking, and she says that she remembers her mother telling her that she was only a year, but that she was running up and down the ship, and the ship was speaking, the captain was saying things in German, like counting in German, and that she was saying those words running up and down.
Right.
And we were trying to figure out, well, how old could you have been that you were running and talking?
Right.
I mean, she's always been somewhat of a genius, so I guess she could have been doing that at a year old.
On the boat coming
on
to
the boat,
New
yeah.
York, and everybody talks about the trip from Europe to New York, where the ship would come, and you would see Long Island's dunes and the land showing up, and the feeling of I made it. Escape.
Right. I think actually they were intending to go somewhere else beyond New York, but
within the United States.
Within the United States, I think Ohio or some like small place.
Right. You think if you had grown up in Ohio, you would have done the same thing?
I've thought about that a lot. I don't think so. I don't know.
Cleveland,
I think that's
Cincinnati,
so interesting.
Dayton's a pretty cool city. I've been there.
I think that there's a lot of dance in Ohio.
Right. It might have been different.
I might have been a star.
Right.
We'll see, but I could still be a star.
Right, but the fact is, fate's had it. You grew up in New York City.
Yeah. And it's interesting though, because my dad is really into dance, and as always, both my parents have been super supportive my whole life of being an artist, and
sure.
It's something I really try to
That's
instill.
wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's you don't seem to run into that in the United States that much.
No. It's not an easy career, and there's a lot of rejection very early on, and I still get rejected all the time, and it's just sort of part of it.
Right.
It's definitely just gotta...
It's sort of like De Niro the other day. I don't know if you saw the news when he said, you're effed to the graduating class. He was giving a speech to a film school at Tisch, right? Because you will now get rejection after rejection after rejection. But, people have the, determination to do it.
Well, it's not about necessarily other people saying you're good or not.
Yeah.
Because I think very few people are making the decision of who's good or not. If you have people seeing your work, then it's good enough to keep making. I've always felt if people aren't going to come to our shows, then I can do it in a different capacity. But if people are interested in seeing the work, then I want to keep making it, not just for myself. And as a reminder, New York Live Arts. You can buy the tickets at newyorklivearts.org.
Right. Well, tell a little bit about the show. So there's another clip coming up as well. So give the whole...
So New York Live Arts, May 28th, 29th, and 30th at 7:30 p.m. And we have a family matinee at 2 p.m.
What's it going to say on the marquee?
Ariel Rivka Dance, Carolyn Dorfman. New York Live Arts.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So go to
So that's what to look for.
newyorklivearts.org.
That's what to look for in the marquee.
Yes.
Right. Great.
Yes.
And,
there's actually video outside the theater of us,
Okay.
which is really nice.
Right. And what time is that starting?
7:30.
7:30.
And
right.
on Saturday it's at 2 p.m.
Right.
And Thursday is actually almost sold out. So come Friday and Saturday.
Okay. Great. Great. Okay. Good. And so we're going to see another clip coming up of what people will see when they go. Okay.
Great.
Let's have it now because that was very interesting. I want to ask you more questions about your life growing up.
Okay.
Interesting. All right. Let's go. All right, wonderful. That was great.
Thank
Really
you.
interesting.
Thank
Wow. The way you talk about it, you're such a professional that when I see it and I see the beauty of it and I'm thinking, what's going on here? What's this about? Tell us what we're seeing.
So that work was called The Book of Esther. That was 2 different clips of a 50-minute work that David and I made together the last 2 years. And it's a real narrative work.
I love the dresses going
thank
around.
you.
That was beautiful. Yeah.
So
you
it's
choreographed that. You're the choreographer.
yeah,
Just so
choreographed
people
it.
haven't, I don't know if I said
I'm a
that enough, right?
choreographer.
She's the choreographer.
I made the dance.
And her husband wrote music.
Wrote the music,
right?
yeah.
So it's a family affair. And she just had a baby 13 months ago, Eva, who's already beginning to dance. I saw the video. So this is an interesting family affair. And what I saw was beautiful. It was great art. I loved it. And I wanted you to tell me more about it.
So one of the things that David and I are really interested in is not only collaborating, but have the music performed live on stage. So this year we had been working on this narrative work, The Book of Esther, for the last 2 years, and I was ready to not do a narrative piece anymore. I didn't want it to be about a story. I wanted to be able to just make movement and dance that came to me. And I was afraid that nothing was going to come to me, but it did. Yeah. And he said, I'm not just going to make music for nothing. I need to have an idea, a theme behind it. So he said he's always wanted to do something about light. So, and I really like the name Ori. I wanted to maybe name our child that.
That's the name of it, Ori.
It's called Ori.
Right, and that's a Hebrew word, right?
Yeah.
For what?
In Hebrew, it means my light.
My light.
So, for me, it was less of a inspirational stepping off point. For David, it was a real stepping off point for the way that he composed the music. And the lighting design is very thought out in terms of how the light is playing and the different dancers. And the costumes are just black and white. I'm not really sure what the piece is about. I don't know that it has to be about anything, but I think that the dancers are beautiful and they're doing interesting emotional movement. And I've always felt that you don't have to understand it or know what it's trying to say. But if you feel something and if you have a reaction, then that's what the point is.
That's interesting. So, how did you come? That seems to take confidence to say, "Well, I'm going to just do what I feel." How do you get the confidence to?
It's funny you say that because people have said that to me, like, "Oh, you must be you're so confident." And I do think I'm confident in certain ways. Like I think I'm funny, and I'm not afraid to sort of say how I feel. But I don't actively think, oh, I'm so great, I can do this, I can do whatever I want. I just allow myself to be who I am, which maybe is confidence, or maybe, my parents say that I don't have a filter, and maybe that's their fault.
That's usually not meant to be positive.
No, it's often not meant to be positive. But I do think that's allowed me to sort of be free with my art, because I'm not thinking, I'm not judging myself in a good way or bad way when I'm creating. I'm just letting myself go. And
combined with what you said earlier about don't worry what other people think about it. It's what you think about it. Right.
And I do think it's important what other people think to an extent, and especially if I'm trying to make a profession out of it, I want it to be good. And I've asked a lot of people's opinion on the new work, and Sean Curran came to a rehearsal recently and gave me some feedback, very positive things, but also some constructive criticism. And I thought about it, and I actually made some real changes to the work. But I think if it's meaningful, and it should feel good for everybody involved. That's a goal.
Right. Everybody should have fun, I'd say.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Get something out of it.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you said get something out of it. What kind of, like an emotional?
Well, yeah, ideally, today in rehearsal, the stage manager and also one of my apprentices, they were saying they had goosebumps and they wanted to cry. And it's not a sad work, it's not a happy work, but with the music and the movement, you feel something. And I don't think you have to know what you're feeling.
Where do your feelings come from? What gives you? What is your daughter? I guess number one at the time. Right. What do you get feeling? What is it? Some people when they see cherry blossom flowers in the springtime, right? Others when they see a wave in the ocean. I've heard it all.
Right.
What is it that makes me? What?
That's a very deep question. Yeah. What makes me feel?
Yeah.
My husband says I have a lot of feelings.
All right.
That's like his line.
Right.
I don't know. I like chocolate. I like ice cream.
Right.
But I think a lot. I like the ocean.
Right.
I think about life. I try not to think about life and death too much because it is too much for me. But I think that's part of it for me, is that movement brings a way for me to express things that I don't know how to say with words. And I do feel like, I don't know how else to explain it, but a very, very visceral, very internal feelings that I can't express any other way. Sometimes you just need to, people go to therapy and people talk about their problems because it makes you feel good to just be able to share it with someone or to get it out of yourself. And I think with dance and movement in general, even, with young children or old people, when you move your body, you're able to release something and share and communicate in a way that you're not able to do without it. So I think
kinesthetics.
Right.
You're a teacher, right?
Yes.
Tell me about your life as a teacher, because we all know what kinesthetics are, right?
Well, I teach 3 and 4-year-olds right now. I've been teaching this age group for 8 years. And
through the DOE?
No, I teach at a nursery school.
All right. The reason I ask that is they're very demanding of time, so it would be hard.
Yeah, I think I don't know a ton about the structure of the public schools right now, but I do know that finding time for physical activity is not easy.
Yeah.
And I know for myself and so many people, if you can't move, you can't think, and you can't focus. Right. And it's really important.
So do you think dance would be appropriate in schools?
Absolutely.
It is.
Absolutely.
It's somewhat there. I mean, in some of the smart schools, they have programs where they do things like that.
Well, there's also so many things you can do with it that can relate to social studies, different cultures, what kind of dance they do, what did it mean, what's the purpose behind it. To
use it as a learning tool.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, with music, it's all math. Right. It's all math.
I think next week we're going to have James Mello on, a musicologist who talks, that's what he talks about all the time. So I'll connect to the next show, because we have an interesting show next time, too, about these similar types of subjects. We talk about art and feeling, and how feeling connects to people's art. Right, and New York's a city artist, so everybody's an artist. Everybody's got an art in this city.
Right.
So we're all fascinated by how people connect to their art. and how they make it work for them. You know, and that's very interesting. Tell us a little bit about the show and where, you know, the details for folks who are listening.
This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at New York Live Arts, which is in Chelsea on West 19th Street, 7:30. It's about a little less than 2 hours, the show. It's in 2 halves, and there will be live music for a majority of the performance. And Saturday we have a family matinee at 2 p.m., which is an abbreviated performance and an interactive workshop where you'll get to meet the dancers and the musicians, and it'll be great.
Cool. All right,
at newyorklivearts.org.
Right, good. And we have a couple of minutes. Let's talk about do you dare think about your future plans? Or is this
I
too
always
late?
do.
This is too early?
No, it's not too early. We're already planning.
Okay.
So we actually were invited to a festival this summer. We're going to do a performance in Warwick, New York. And in next March, we're already trying to tour the Book of Esther for Purim, related to the Jewish holiday of Purim. So I know we're going to be at the Ocean County Jewish Federation then. And we're hoping to do another big show like this in a year. That's our goal, is to do at least one big show like this and then tour to outside of the city.
All right, so you get outside of the city. In the Northeast, or would you?
I will go anywhere. I will go anywhere if
Sure.
they can pay me to do it, somewhat.
Great. Well, do you think maybe Chicago or Los Angeles?
I would love that.
Those kind of places, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be great. They're great
Yes.
whistle stops, right?
Right.
Right time of year, anyway.
Yeah, maybe winter, Florida sounds good.
Right, that's perfect, right? You can
Perfect.
get that
I'll
going.
do that.
Yeah, it sounds like my kind of tour.
Summer, not New York, would be good. Maybe
Right. How does a
Canada.
dance troupe tour?
Well, what do you mean? You get on a plane, you get in a car. When it's relatively close. We were in Philadelphia this last winter. We took a car. A number of us drove, and
Right.
that
Just
was
met up
interesting.
down there,
It was
so-
great.
Okay.
The Gershman Y was fabulous.
So they had space to warm up and get ready and all that kind of thing,
Yep,
right?
it was the theater, and the community came, and
Oh,
it was
really?
really fabulous. Yeah.
Oh, nice. So do you see in the future time when you'll tie the education work that you do with the dance?
So I do. I've done some workshops at Children's Museum in Manhattan. I've done a lot with the school that I work at, Jewish Community Project, and I've done a number of other interactive workshops. So I like to keep the professional performing professional and invite them to family shows. And I would definitely love to go into some schools also, continue that work.
Okay, great. And well, anything you'd like to add in the last half minute? We got half a minute. And anything you want the viewers to know about what's going on?
I think it's going to be a really fabulous evening and afternoon of accessible art and dance. I think that people who don't know a lot about dance will love it. People who know a lot about dance will really love it. The dancers are outstanding. Really some of the best dancers I've ever seen, and the music is just incredible and beautiful. NewYorkLiveArts.org and Ariel Rivka Dance. It's very exciting.
Thank you, Ariel Grossman,
Thank
for
you
joining
so
us on
much.
Let Them
Thank
Talk.
you.
Great, and have a great show. Okay,
Thank you.
and we'll see you next week with James Mello. It'll be interesting. All right, bye.